Hey guys, today we're going to talk about mountain building. We're going to talk about two processes that help form mountains, folding and faulting. The most important thing to remember is that mountains are formed by the movement of the Earth's tectonic plates. This first picture here is from the Andes Mountains in South America. The first process is called folding. Folding happens when tectonic plates are smashed together and the Earth rises up. This usually happens at convergent boundaries. Oftentimes, one plate is shoved underneath another plate. This is called subduction, and it causes the plate on top to rise up. This is the process that formed the Alps in Europe. There's two types of folding we want to talk about. Anticlines take on the shape of a hump and sort of resemble the letter A for anticline. Synclines take on the shape of a depression, so I like to remember them by the word sink. Here's a simplified picture of an anticline and a syncline. Here's a fold mountain that's formed from an anticline. This is Seidling Rock in Maryland. It's an obvious syncline and one of the largest around. You can see it on the way to West Virginia if you've ever driven there from Pennsylvania. Here's some crazy folded rocks I saw in Ireland one time. The next process we want to talk about is faulting. A fault is a crack in a large block of rock. Faults form when rock is under so much pressure that it breaks. These often happen at transform boundaries and can cause earthquakes. They also happen at divergent boundaries when rocks are pulled apart. They can also happen at convergent boundaries when rocks break apart. The blocks of rock on either side of the fault are called fault blocks. Notice that the normal fault causes the earth to rise up. All right, we're going to talk about three types of mountains: fold mountains, fault block mountains, and volcanic mountains. We're not going to talk a whole lot about volcanic mountains because we'll cover that in our next unit on volcanoes. Fold mountains are, formed by folding. They usually happen at convergent boundaries when the plates are pushing together. The Appalachians, the Himalayas, and the Alps are all examples of fold mountains. Fault block mountains happen along fault lines, usually normal faults and on divergent boundaries where the earth is pulling apart. The Grand Tetons in Wyoming and the Sierra Nevada mountains in California are examples. Volcanic mountains are formed by igneous intrusions or magma that rises through the crust of the earth. Mount Fuji in Japan, Mauna Kea in Hawaii, and Mount Rainier in Washington State are all examples. Here's me and Mrs. Kane at the top of Mauna Kea in Hawaii.